it do, baby? Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, liking. Today, we're talking about Son Goku, the leader I topped this weekend with in Coco, and I did place top 16. I had to leave, so I couldn't play it out, unfortunately. But I learned a lot about the deck, and I want to tell you guys everything I learned about it, so that when you're playing them, you can be as good as you possibly can. Not only do I want to talk about the strategies I learned about them, but I want to go over the budget version, which I don't think loses much of an edge. I want to talk about replacements. If you don't have money for Ribrianne, I believe there's ways to go around that, and I really want to cover that because if you want to go budget, there's a couple of decks you can use, and I think Son Goku is one of them. And if you don't want to do that and you want to be competitive, this video will help you out because I really wanted to take Vegex, but Vegex me personally, I felt like you could beat him. Whereas Son Goku, I wasn't aware of that until current testing. So this is great because I learned a lot this weekend. So let's talk about Goku. For those of you that don't know, when he attacks, he draws one and he bursts 3. This is true on both sides. When one of your battle cards is KO'd, you can awaken him by drawing one and untapping one, and this can happen as early as turn 1, right? Or you can awaken at 4 life or less by drawing 2 cards. Let's go to the backside. On the backside, he still has the same draw effect. He's 15k though, and at any time, activate main or battle, you can crit 2 life and wipe the whole board, ignoring barrier. Now, this is important to understand that there's a distinction about him that says that he places the cards in a drop area, not KOs them. This is important because against the Revive Coup matchup, it won't proc the effects of KOing. This is also relevant because Vegeta is using Revive Coup currently, and I want you guys to know that because it's a popular interaction you'll obviously see. So let's go to the rest of the deck here, okay? If you guys want to see the deck I actually topped with, just go to my channel, go back a few videos, and you'll see it. Now, this deck here, I'm using it as a budget option, okay? However, there's a few things I want to talk about. I found myself not liking the package of To Save a Hopeful Future, but it's because it wasn't my strategy. I think that if we disagree with a certain strategy, it doesn't mean it's bad. We have to accept that it's good, it's just not our own, because if you underestimate it, then you might lose to it. You need to understand it, not disrespect it. I understand that To Save a Hopeful Future is a strong strategy. It doesn't fit my playstyle. I believe that in my deck, I would rather run Overwhelm. Overwhelm cards that would like make my opponent drop their hand lower, be more aggressive early on. I'm a very aggressive player, and that just fit my playstyle a lot better. But before I go into that, I do want to show you guys this deck. Every card here is very cheap. Again, you want to awaken turn 1, right? Which is why I'm running 2 of the Saberman and 4 of the Son Gohan, right? Now, if you want a budget deck, this is it right here. You have a lot of answers. We are running the red-green because we do like the same technique, Great Vegeta. Vegex is a deck that's ran a lot this format. And, you know, I talk about this card a lot, and it wipes the entire board of 15Ks or less. It's a good backup to have. You don't have to run everything I have here, guys. This is just to show you some of the options you have because you have so many options in green to run a budget deck that I just want to show them to you guys. If you do like the red-green archetype, I would obviously run Broly Demonic Origins. I would run this guy at least. This is an absolute if you're running the red-green, the Broly Demonic Origins. And then I would run the Kaioken Goku. This dude, for some reason, is like 20 cents right now. It's Deflect for 25,000. So you can't hit him, he's hitting the board. If you have 20 green or red cards in a drop area, he becomes a 5-drop. So this is turn 5, right? And he has Deflect. Now, activate main, he's gonna get dual attack and triple strike. If you take one of your life and you look at your opponent's hand, and every time you do that, you get to add 25,000 to this guy, and it's not once per turn. So you can do it as many times as you want until you go to 1 life. Not only that, but every time you look at your opponent's hand, you get to take a card out of it, and he can't be KO'd. Like, this is one of the best finishers in the game, bar none, and it's just simply not being used. I have no idea why. I don't know why it's so cheap. In this game, a lot of cards are inflated, and there's a lot of value in weird places, and a lot of cards get underrated for some reason, and this is one of them. And if you guys are making a budget deck, and you're having a Green Goku deck, there's so many good finishers. This is one of them. I hope I put this card on someone's radar that's new or that needs help. Another card you guys should be using that's really powerful is just the booster chain. If you buy any set 10 boosters, you're gonna see this guy everywhere, or you can just buy it. It's like 50 cents. He's a 4-drop, and he has Deflect and Barrier. Like, this dude is gonna hit the board. He's insane. And the whole chain does wipe the board on your opponent's side, ignoring Barrier. It's once you go into this dude right here. He's gonna be Double Strike. He cannot leave the battle area by any skills. And again, he wipes the board, ignoring Barrier. And every time they want to play a battle card that's 5 or less, they have to drop 2 cards. So this guy's just a permanent Double Striker that doesn't leave the board, that wipes the board of Barrier, and it makes it so your opponent has to drop cards every time they have to play a card. This dude is an absolute nightmare, and again, he's like 50 cents, maybe $1. Obviously, you have to be running a critical amount of Gohans, Piccolos, and that's why in this deck I have the 1-drop Piccolo, the 1-drop Bulma, the 1-drop Gohan. I'm just running these guys to make this active because it's such a powerful effect, and luckily we have enough of these cards that are good enough to be able to be played. The super combo of choice is the Vegeta, the Lone Prince. When he gets played, you drop a card from your hand. Now this is... Oh, I'm sorry, your opponent drops one. This is a budget build, so I'm not running the Bardock, and I'm not running the Frieza or Ribriannes. If you want the competitive build, go to my previous videos. I have the deck that topped. But I don't think that the budget version loses much of an edge. The artificial impact is here for the Invoker matchup. You can KO anything ignoring Barrier, and your opponent chooses a card and places it in the drop area. One card that I love that I think can replace Ribrianne is Hidden Power of the Saiyans. Now, instead of making your opponent drop 2, this thing will counterplay anything, and it's up to your opponent's choice. Like, they can either drop 2 cards or just have whatever they played go straight to the drop area. So here it goes. If either the card is green, your opponent may place the battle card they're playing in its owner's drop area instead of playing it. That means that it can hit like a secret rare. Like, if they just don't have the 2 cards to drop for it, this can counterplay anything. If they didn't, your opponent chooses 2 cards in her hand and places them in a drop area. Situationally, this could be a better Ribrianne. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying the ceiling in this card is really high and it's 5 cents. If you want to build a Green Goku and you're new, and you just want to build a very powerful, very defensive, very offensive deck, here it is. This is a really good deck with crazy finishers with insane defense. One of my favorite spices is I'm running Heroes Mafuba as a negate. It's for 1 green, you negate the attack. However, if this guy's on board, or Urgent 8 Kami, which I only play because if there's any blue leaders that are untapping on their turn, you get to blow up one of their energies. That's pretty relevant nowadays. You can actually use Heroes Mafuba and Mafuba one of your opponent's cards. So like, it just negates it and it pretends like they don't exist. Like, if you use Heroes Mafuba on anything, like you can do this on a Victory Strike card, and it just, the attack won't go through. This is a pretty powerful combo. Again, you don't have to be attached to it. You can run checking Death Bomb, like, do whatever. I just want to place these cards in your radar so you are aware of how it's played and how powerful these cheap cards can be. Curling Steadfast Defender, right? If you have Sparking 10, it's a 2-drop that makes you draw 2 cards and then drop a card. Also, he's a blocker. So what you want to do is play this, and then when he's KO'd by your opponent swinging into it because it's a blocker, you can play Final Showdown Goku, another like 50-cent card. And when he comes down, he's a double striker, 25k, but when he comes down, it KOs one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. Very powerful, very insane, and I'm just excited because there's so many things in green you guys can use that are very budget friendly. Like you can build this deck right here for like I want to say like $20. I don't know. Like if I'm crazy, holler at me, but like this is a pretty cheap deck. Now you can pick this apart. Let's say you don't like the red green. You can take out the Brolys, the Vegetas, the Kaiokens, add more mono green to it. This is 60 cards. Add more Bulmas, more Piccolos. I get that. If you want to go more into the red-green, you can put in Nappa super combos maybe. Gogeta, Resonant Explosion. These are just budget cards you can use. I do think Vegeta, the Lone Prince, is the best super combo though because it makes your opponent drop a card and then it stays live for just a regular super combo. It does draw a card when you combo with it if you're at 4 or less. But I hope this gives you guys an idea of something, or you can just use this list. I just want you guys to be aware of this budget option, which is very, very good, very powerful. Like these finishers are extremely powerful. This is a turn, turn 4, and this is the turn 5 right here. Like this is incredible. If you get hit by this, you're pretty much done. And you have answers to Vegex, you have answers to Goku, you have answers to Blue on tap. Now let's go into the sideboard. This isn't exactly a sideboard. This is just me showing you a few cards that I wanted to talk about. Now my final build for my actual competitive deck is gonna be running the Dark Temptation Towa and the Relentless Destruction Mira, just because those 2 cards are Overwhelm and they make your opponent drop a card and it's more aggressive. I find that that version is better than the Disable Hopeful Future package. Now, just because I like that doesn't mean I don't respect that version or that I don't think it's good. I do believe it's out there, I just don't think it fits my playstyle. Some other great cards to use are the Son Goku Power of Legend and Surprise Attack Frieza. Goku comes out if your opponent drops a card from their hand, and Frieza comes out if one of their battle cards is destroyed. Both of them are critical attackers, both of them are free, they're both amazing. Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, it's just anytime your opponent is playing cards with non-keyword skills, 15k or less, it's going to make them drop cards to use those effects, so I have him on the sideboard. Crisis Crusher is another great card. It becomes a 1-drop if you don't have any battle cards, and they do, and it KOs a 1-drop every turn from your opponent's board, and they can't swing with 1-drops. Very good. Now let's go into the Save a Hopeful Future package. For the deck I just showed you guys, if you'd like to run a small to Save a Hopeful Future package, you could run 3 or 2 of this extra card, maybe 4, whatever, and then just run like 1-ofs or 2-ofs, right? Because they're gonna get bursted, they're gonna go to the drop area, and then turn 4 you're gonna use this extra card to play them. I'm talking about these 4 cards because they're not the most obvious ones. You guys all know you could play Piccolo's Simulated Ability. You all know that you could play the 5-drop Ribrianne. Ken gave me this option of playing Faded Kaioken Son Goku because it's a double strike dual attacker. You can also play Android 21, a Bad Omen. It's a starter deck card and it crits a life from your opponent, and it pops a battle card from their board. Raditz, Rival of the Invader, you get to look at their hand and it's a critical 20k. You get to choose a card from their hand and put it in their drop area. And Combo Killer Anilaza, all of these cards are like 20 cents. Android 21 may have gone up recently because of the new reveals for Android stuff, but Combo Killer Anilaza is like 8 cents, and it's Barrier, Double Strike, and it takes off cards from your opponent's combo area. So to Save a Hopeful Future, if you guys want to know where my deck is going, just look at the deck I topped with. It's going to be in my channel. the deck I tapped. I have the deck profile there. I have the deck list. I would simply replace to save a hopeful future, and I would add Miras and Toas, the overrun ones. Um, I would mainboard Haru Haru actually. I know it sounds ridiculous. Um, and that's how the deck would run. I would actually also run the Super Android 21 because he's a 4-drop double striker and his attack cannot be negated, and your opponent has to drop 2 cards from her hand when you play him. And so do I, but I don't care because I'm not the one facing a double striker I can't negate. It's an amazing game ender, and he's 8 cents. Look him up, please, guys. I'm just showing you guys all of the options you have. Every card I've shown you in this video is kind of free. Like, it's 50 cents, 60 cents. Look at all of these cards, guys. This is just an example. You don't have to run this deck the way I'm showing it to you. But I just hope that, because there's so many new players, and I hate to see you guys get burnt. I hate to see you guys buy crazy cards that are going to get banned. Or hate to see you guys paying $200. This is a deck that's very powerful, that's very cheap. And if you guys want insight on just the regular competitive version, yeah, I would add, say, an Instinct Son Goku, the Draw Ape, the yellow ape, and I would add Overrun to the deck, and I would put that in to replace to save a hopeful feature, right? That's the direction of the competitive deck. I would stop charging after turn 3. Maybe charge turn 4 if I can proc Ribrianne twice on turn 4. Play more free cards. That's the type of game I like, right? So that's my insight on the competitive version, if you need help with that. Now, as far as the budget version, here it is. These are a lot of just powerful cards, man. Hidden Power of the Saiyans is crazy good. Like, people are spending like $500 on Ribrianne cards, and dude, just buy 4 of these for like, what, 20 cents? This card isn't getting played enough. I've been talking about this card forever. If your opponent has 4 or more battle cards on board, this card destroys everything that's 15k or less. And this is so good against Vegex. Yeah, there's so many good plays to be had in Green Goku. If you're a new player, literally just net deck this. Or play with it, you know. Try to have an answer for everything. But this deck is powerful, it's cheap. It's in the description. Check it out. I hope this helped at least one of you. I know there's a lot of new players. I know there's a lot of experienced players that were looking for advice. I hope I gave it to you. Green Goku's very good. I wanted to take Vegex, and I'm excited because I learned a lot of new stuff about Vegex. I want to show you guys, and I'm working on a lot of things with Vegex, and I love Vegex so much. I think he's very fun. A lot of people think he's boring. I don't know how, dude. There's so many infinite things you can do with Vegex. It's such a wonderful deck, and Green Goku's the same. People say Green Goku's boring too. I don't know how. You can do so much shit with Green Goku. You can get very creative, and I just love that. This deck can do so many things, especially with so much drop area interaction. Something that I was thinking about is going blue-green for the ramp package, because that means that you could play Son Goku part of the Saiyan sooner, but the 21 ramp thing is going to go up in price a lot, so I wouldn't consider that budget. But guys, check these cards out that I just told you about. Go to TCG, read them, see how strong they are for yourselves, test them on untap, you know. I'm not capping, these cards are crazy. But Green Goku, I felt like, if you want my honest opinion, a lot of my opponents, they gave me feedback because after I play someone, I like to talk to them. I like to pick at their brain. I want to see what they're thinking. I want to see what I'm doing differently, right? I played Topo, I played Invoker, I played Green Gohan, and I played Towa. They said I was the only player that was tapping 4 to use 2 Ribrians at once, and I found that to be odd, because I feel like you should be doing that. You should be destroying their hand as much as you can, and I was just keeping them at 0 hands, and their life was like at 8. and it got to a point where I was just swinging with critical attackers. I was swinging with Friezas, with the black Goku that comes in for free that's critical. That's the only cards I was swinging with. I was using my leader to swing at unisons to gain advantage while they lost advantage. And it felt like, if you ever heard of like a snake kills by constricting. Every time your opponent breathes, it constricts tighter. It's like attrition. It's little by little by little until they're at 1 life and just shotgun for life and it's over. Um, Look at the cards I have here. I hope this gives you guys any ideas. I'm just excited because this deck can run so many good cards. You could build a deck. Here's my advice. If you're new and you want to make a budget deck, either build a deck around Kaioken, right? Or Son Goku, part of the Saiyans. Or both. If you do want to do one of them, you could do just Final Showdown Goku. All he needs is one Krillin. So just run this guy. This guy's so good, you know. This deck has the ability to have an insane finisher, a great ability from a leader, and he has the tools to KO things that are aggressive. He has the ability to get around Invoke, or if you're a good enough player with enough experience, it's up to you. You guys have to read the cards. You guys have to put in the work. If you're putting in a card in your deck, ask yourself, why is this here, and what's the utility? Am I simply attached to this card for a certain reason, beyond its effectiveness to the purpose of my deck? You know? Should it be in this deck? Again, I should talk with this Frankenstein deck profile I'm showing you guys, but really this deck profile is just to show you guys options of cards you can play. I mean, I could take this to a local and do really good. I know it because this deck's crazy. But I hope this helped any of you. If you have any questions, I have so many things to say about Green Goku and every specific matchup. If you guys have any suggestions about or questions about any decks that you're trying out, let me know. Green Goku's insane. Try it out. It's not unbeatable. There's ways to get around them. But if you're a new player, hope this helps. If you're an experienced player trying to lateral move from Invoker or from Yellow into Green Goku, I hope this was a clear path to learning. If you're an experienced player and you're running Great Apes on Goku, the Draw Ape basically, and you have your Ribrians, you can make a fucking competitive deck with this. I mean, you can put Son Goku in it, you can put Kaioken. This is by no means a scrub list or whatever. Like, hidden power of the Saiyans is nuts, you know. The meta version of this deck, again, is the top 16 version that I have on my channel. The only changes I would make to that, again, is I would take out Disable Hopeful Future, and I would add a few Overwhelm cards. Obviously, I would use the Ribrians and then Overwhelm, right? I wouldn't Overwhelm with the Ribrians in the drop area. I feel like that version is more aggressively hand destruction, and to decks like Toa, that's like killer, you know. But thank you guys for, dude. When I was in Coco, I remember I got to a point where I was like 3-0, and I was like, oh shit, I'm on a hot streak. And all you guys that were showing me love, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I got all your energy, so I really appreciate that. I'll see you guys next time. Good luck on your testing. Stick around, have a lot of decks to show you, a lot of ideas to share, and I hope this helps any of you, okay? Take it easy. I'll see you all next time.